Hi everybody, welcome to Jess in the Box. Today we have a special guest, Lane Smith, a successful children's book illustrator and author over the past 30 years. So let's welcome in Lane. Woo! Play a video. Hi Lane, how are you?
How you doing today, Jess?
How was your trip here?
Traffic was really hectic. I didn't expect New York traffic to be this bad. Well, I guess I should have expected it, but I just didn't. Had a rush in here.
So let's get straight to it. Why did you get started in writing children's books?
Well, actually, when I was in college, I worked as a janitor at Disney, and so I saw a lot of kids, and I just felt like I wanted to inspire those kids, by being around them so much.
Did you have any specific person in your childhood that inspired you to get into this?
Actually, my art teacher, he recognized my talent and my ability, and he said that I should pursue a degree in art, so that's what I did.
And you went to Pasadena Art School, correct?
Yeah, I see someone's been doing that research. Yeah, that's exactly what I went. I enjoyed my time there.
Do you think that helped you excel in the children's book world, or did it just help you with your art overall?
I'll say it helped me with my art overall, which pretty much helped me excel in the children's world, But I can't say I enjoyed all the work it took to graduate with a degree from it, if that makes sense.
And you said that your teacher acknowledged your art skills. Were you always like that as a kid, or did you acquire a skill over time?
Well, I was very to myself as a kid. I was the shy kid. I used to wear the hoodie in the back of the class, But I didn't have a gun, but anyway, I would say I did a lot of doodling in my notebook, and it pretty much turned into my the art I have now.
So how do you get your ideas for the book? How do they pop into your head?
Just exactly that. They pop into my head like a bubble. Yes.
So I've heard a lot of things about parents asking if your books are appropriate for their kids to read. What is your response to that question?
Well, personally, I'm not that kid's parent, so I can't tell them what to read and what not to read. But I will let you know, as a parent who's watching this, my books aren't about manners. My books aren't about doing the right thing or anything like that. My books are created to invoke a sense of laughter, just to make someone feel good. So if you want to deprive your kid of that, then feel free to.
I also feel like a lot of books are about manners and doing the right thing. So I feel like your books would stand out a lot and get noticed more in the public eye.
It takes a certain type of sense of humor to really enjoy my books, but I feel like if any kid read it, they will laugh because, they're used to hearing that generic story over and over, and a lot of my books cover the not-so-generic story, if that makes sense.
So I have a pretty interesting question. How is having your wife as your book designer?
Stressful, but I'm actually kidding. My wife is one of the most, I'll say, successful designers in the game, So having her work on majority of my books is just really amazing, Once my name started getting out there, all these people started coming up to me and asking hey, can we design for you? And I was just like, I'm dating the best person in the game, And we got married, and it doesn't help that I got the best designer in the game, and I get a discount, so that's great.
So what would you say your favorite book that up to date that you wrote is?
I'm gonna give it to Madam President.
Okay.
Most definitely Madam President.
So I have that book with me, so we'll talk about that a little later on.
All right.
And also, I know one of your first books that came out was with John Sieska. How was it working with him?
John, actually, me and John are really good friends. We worked a lot together very early on in our careers, He actually wrote this book called Knucklehead, so if you haven't read that already, you should definitely read it. It's very, very funny, and it just pretty much sheds some light on his life before he's the John that we know now. But our energies, they bounce well off each other, We let off that vibe, We create a good workspace.
So speaking of John, I have one of your first books that you guys published together, which is The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. What inspired you guys to make a book like this that was kind of the opposite story of the original Three Little Pigs?
Well, something my mom always told me is there's my side of the story, there's your side of the story, there's the truth. And I feel like all too often we just hear the pig side of the story, so I wanted to create a story where the wolf is being represented. And we took it and ran with it. It's a great book if you haven't read it. It's on Amazon.
So you illustrated the wolf wearing a suit and tie looking like a little like old man almost. Does this mean that you think the wolf is innocent since you're portraying him as that?
Well, I wouldn't say I think the wolf is innocent, but I don't think the wolf is guilty. I feel like the wolf is the victim, if that makes sense. These pigs automatically saw him as this predator, you know, so they automatically assumed that he was there for the wrong things, when in actuality he was actually there for some sugar.
I guess you'll have to leave it for the reader to decide.
I guess so.
So another successful book that won a Caldecott by you and John is The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Tales, which are like little spin-off recreations of classics. Do you have a favorite one that you illustrated?
Yeah, so the Stinky Cheese Man, I really like a story about the ugly duckling, you know, and the generic story that you constantly hear everywhere. The duckling, you know, she was turned out to be a swan, and she becomes this beautiful, beautiful animal. And in our version, you see the duck never gets beautiful; it remains ugly, you know. And I just feel like if a kid read that, and by them hearing that real story, they would really like find it funny that the duck didn't turn into a swan and it remained ugly for its entire life, you know.
So do you think this is a good example for kids, that there's not always happy endings? Or do you think this is an example where a parent would ask if it's appropriate for their kid to read?
Well, and to answer your first question, I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say it's not a happy ending, because, you know, I feel like other people can have happy endings too. But to answer your second question, if a parent says that this book is inappropriate, you know, their kid shouldn't be reading it, then I honestly don't even know. Like, there's something wrong with that parent, I feel like.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
So actually, you know, I told you traffic is really hectic. That's the only reason I parked in a handicapped spot without.
Oh no, I'm talking about the big elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah, that elephant in the room.
So again, with the same question about the parents, this book is like has 25 bad things that this guy did to his friend. Do you think that's like teaching kids that being mean is okay?
Well, first I want to applaud you for counting how many times that the guy said something negative about his friend. But I wouldn't. If a parent interprets this book as just the negative aspects that in the book, then they're really not interpreting the whole book. The book is actually about miscommunication and how one person can say something, it can be interpreted as something that they completely didn't say. So once again, if a parent wants to interpret it that way, they can. But that's not the meaning of my book.
Gotcha.
It's on Amazon. Go check it out.
So next we have what you said is your favorite book that you wrote.
Yes.
Why do you say this?
I say Madam Prison is my favorite book because, you know, it inspires, you know, first of all, it inspires kids, you know, build goals for themselves and kind of have aspirations. But it also inspires little girls, you know, want to be the president of the United States. We haven't had a female president yet, even though we should have had one this time. But, you know, America tricked. But now we have an orange with a wig in office. But actually, I feel like Madam President did a better job than our talking orange that we have. But and then the book kind of like goes through and it comments like building a great cabinet, you know. Like the book just has a lot of great aspects that the kids will learn about being the president. And maybe, for all we know, the next president of the United States will be like, oh yeah, I read Madam President.
I thought it was cute how like her responsibilities were cleaning her room and like vetoing bad lunches and stuff like that. So I feel like kids will be able to relate with that well.
I feel like the actual president of the United States should be in charge of cleaning his room. He shouldn't have to pay a maid to clean his room. Like, you know, that's ridiculous in my opinion.
So next we have Grandpa Green, which you said is one of your most beautiful works of art
Most definitely.
so far. And I would have to agree. I like how each like plant is created to tell a story. For example, this one has like little red dots on the tree because the grandpa had chicken pox. So it kind of tells the story. So I thought that was really cute, and it was also a Caldecott winner.
Yes, very successful.
And next we have Pinocchio the Boy, which is like a spin-off of the original Pinocchio. What was your idea behind creating this?
All right, so kind of going along with the generic story of Pinocchio, you know, he gets turned into a real boy and stuff like this. Well, in this story, it takes place directly after the story of Pinocchio ended. But instead of Pinocchio knowing he got turned into a real boy, he went to sleep with his dad instead and woke up and he was a real boy. So he went about his day that he normally would as a puppet, and when he went through that day, everybody called him a liar. He was shamed and everything because he was a human boy was doing something a puppet normally does, like for example doing a dance routine in a theater, you know. So then at the very end he found that he's a real boy, and then the fairy godmother apologizes for turning him into a real boy without telling him, pretty much making him go through this hell of a day that he went through. Great book. It's also on Amazon, $3.95.
So lastly, we have It's a Book, which is definitely my favorite. And this was a 4-time New York Times bestseller. It won a Caldecott, and it was on the best book list. And I would have to agree with USA Today's Pop Candy, who said, this tongue-in-cheek picture book about reading in the digital age features the best last line ever in the world of children's books.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have you read this so everyone can experience that last line.
All right.
So go ahead.
All right. So It's a Book by Lane Smith. Yours truly. What do you have there? It's a book. How do you stroll down? I don't. I turn the page. It's a book. Do you blog with it? No. It's a book. Where's your mouse? Can you make the characters fight? Nope. Book. Can it tweet? No. Text? No. Wi-Fi? No. Can it do this? No. It's a book. Look. Too many letters. I'll fix it. So, what else can this book do? Does it need a password? No. Need a screen name? No. It's a book. Are you going to give my book back? No. Fine. I'm going to the library. Don't worry, I'll charge it when I'm done. You don't have to. It's a book, jackass. It's a Book by Lane Smith.
All right, so I want to thank you for coming, Lane, and maybe the next time a lot of your books get a lot of success, you'll be back on this show to share more with them.
Well, definitely, thank you. But real quick, I want to give a shout out. Let me give a shout out to the Wolf. You know, I know you holding it down to jail. You know, keep staying strong, my brother. Shout out to Pinocchio. I'm finally glad you got to become a real boy. Shout out to Madam President for aspiring to be the first female president of the United States. So shout out to my beautiful wife. I love you. Have a nice day.
And I'll see you next time on Jess in the Box.